Most men who struggle with attraction are not struggling because they are bad people. They are struggling because they are too good, too agreeable, too available, too willing to give, without limits. And the painful irony is that every single one of those qualities, which feel like kindness, are quietly destroying their chances. Today, we are going into why, and more importantly, where this pattern actually starts. Welcome back to Don Juan Decoded. Over the last 3 episodes, we have been building a foundation. We covered why nice guy behavior repels women, how desperation works against you, and how to build genuine self-worth. Today, we are going one level deeper, because underneath the nice guy pattern and the desperation trap is usually the same root, a wound that most men never identify. It is called the people-pleaser wound. And once you understand where it actually comes from, a lot of things that have confused you about yourself will start to make sense. By the end of this episode, you will understand why the need to be liked is costing you more than you realize, where it originates, and the specific steps that start to heal it. Let us get into it. Here is something that most people-pleasers have in common. They give a lot. They agree readily. They never cause friction. They are easy to be around. And in friendships, these qualities are genuinely valuable. But in dating, these exact same qualities create a problem that is difficult to explain without understanding the energy underneath them. Here is how it plays out. A man meets a woman he is interested in. He is thoughtful. He asks good questions. He listens. He remembers the small details she shared. He never pushes back. He is available whenever she needs him. He puts real effort in, and she starts to pull away. He cannot understand it. He was doing everything right. He was being genuine. Here is the part that takes time to grasp. He was being genuine, genuinely afraid of losing her, genuinely hoping that enough effort would translate to enough acceptance, genuinely giving from a place of needing something back, even though that need was never stated out loud, and she could feel it. Not the kindness, the cost attached to the kindness. Every time a man gives from a place of needing approval, he is quietly placing a weight on the other person. The weight says, I need you to respond well to this, because my sense of worth depends on it. She does not have to decode that consciously. She just feels it as something heavy, something that makes her feel responsible for his emotional state before she has agreed to anything. There is a second thing that happens too. A man who says yes to everything, who has no real limits, who bends his preferences to whatever fits her, slowly becomes someone with no shape, no edges, nothing to push against. And as much as people say they want someone endlessly accommodating, the reality of experiencing it is different. It feels less like being cared for and more like interacting with someone who has no actual self. The people-pleaser becomes, as psychologists describe it, predictable in the worst way. There is no curiosity about what he might say or do, because he will always say and do whatever makes the other person comfortable. And predictability in attraction kills interest faster than almost anything else. Here is where it gets important. The people-pleaser wound does not start in dating. It starts in childhood. Between the ages of 0 and 7, the human brain is in a highly receptive state. It is absorbing patterns about how the world works, and most importantly, about what you have to do to be safe and loved. For many men who grow up to be people-pleasers, the message they absorbed early on was consistent. When you are agreeable, helpful, and do not cause problems, you receive warmth and belonging. When you have needs of your own, when you create friction, When you take up space, that warmth disappears. It does not have to be an abusive situation. It can be as subtle as a parent who only praised compliance, an environment where expressing real feelings was uncomfortable for the adults around you, a pattern of receiving more love when you gave something away than when you simply existed. The brain does what it is designed to do. It finds the pattern that keeps you safe and runs it automatically. The grown man carries this into every relationship. When he is with a woman he cares about, the 7-year-old program activates. Be agreeable. Do not create conflict. Give without limit. Earn your place. And here is the part that makes it painful. It does not feel like fear. It feels like love. It feels like caring deeply. It feels like the right thing to do. But love does not require you to disappear. Caring deeply for someone does not mean abandoning your own limits. And the woman on the other side of the interaction can feel the difference between being genuinely cared for and being needed for someone else's emotional survival. The shift that changes everything is this: stop giving to get. Start giving because you have something real to offer. When you give from a full place, with no hidden expectation of a specific return, the energy is completely different. The generosity is clean. She can receive it without feeling the weight of obligation underneath. But you can only give from a full place when you have actually built one, when you have approved of yourself, set standards, and created a life that does not depend on her saying yes to feel okay. Here is what actually changes the pattern. The first step is to find it and name it. The next time you feel the automatic urge to agree with something you do not actually agree with, or to help with something that genuinely costs you more than you want to give, pause before you act. Ask yourself honestly, am I doing this because I want to, or because I am afraid of what happens if I do not? That single question, asked consistently, starts to surface the wound. You are not trying to be more selfish. You are trying to be more honest. And honesty with yourself is where the real work begins. The second step is to approve of yourself before seeking her approval. Before any interaction, take a moment to remind yourself of what you already know about yourself, your values, your intentions, the ways you genuinely try to show up in the world. Her response to you is information. It is not the verdict on your worth. When you carry that distinction into a conversation, something shifts. You stop auditing everything you say for her reaction. You stop measuring your value against her response time. You are there to find out about her, not to convince her about you. The third step is to practice saying no in small, honest ways. This does not mean becoming difficult or withholding. It means letting your real preferences take up space. When she asks what you want to do, and you genuinely have a preference, say it. When something she suggests does not work for you, say so calmly and without apology. When she shares an opinion you do not share, offer your honest perspective. Every time you do this, you send a signal that you have substance, that you are not just a mirror reflecting back whatever she wants to see, that there is actually a person here worth getting to know. The fourth step is to check your intention before giving. When you feel the urge to do something generous, run the honest check. Am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I am afraid of losing her? If it is fear, wait. The same action taken from a different place will land completely differently. When you come back to it from genuine desire, from a full cup rather than an empty one, the gesture is clean. She can receive it. It does not come with a silent invoice. And finally, become someone you already respect. The deepest source of healing for the people pleaser is not a technique. It is building a life and an identity that already has the internal approval he has been seeking from others. What would that life look like? What would you have to do consistently to genuinely respect yourself at the end of each day? Start there. Build toward that. And let her see a man who has already answered the most important question about his own worth before she ever had a chance to weigh in. If this episode described something you recognized in yourself, the full chapter with specific exercises is in the ebook linked in the description. Subscribe for weekly episodes on authentic confidence and becoming the kind of man who does not need to chase. And drop a comment. What is one moment where you said yes when you meant no, and how did it turn out? I read every single one. Next week, we are moving into something that a lot of men misunderstand: masculine energy. What it actually is, why it has nothing to do with being dominant or aggressive, and why it is one of the most naturally attractive qualities a man can develop. That is episode 5. See you then.